Your friends have forgotten. They've forgotten everything. Each other, the dark hour, shadows, Nyx, everything. Akihiko and Mitsuru are still on friendly terms. Junpei and Yukari are as well, but they don't remember C's. They don't remember that you were all friends together. They still remember you. The C's members remember that they love you, but it feels off. Somehow, they all still love you. They've shown as much, but they fell in love with their fearless leader, not some random dorm mates. You feel like they love the idea of you. You were never really sure what that meant until now. The only ones who remember the dark hour are you, Aigis, and Koromaru. He still lives at the dorm. Everyone thinks he's just a dorm dog, but when you look into his eyes, you sense that he remembers the final battle and what you did for everybody. You ask Aigis just to be sure. She confirms Yadiri. The entire month of February is so difficult. Your friends still talk to you, but it feels superficial. They don't know, and you're too tired to explain it to them. Too tired to feel anything more than a lingering sadness. What hurts the most is seeing the lack of recognition in everybody's eyes. Mitsuru, Fuka, Ken, Akihiko. You still see them pretty often, since you all live in the same dorm. They're still people you cherish, but they don't see you the way you see them. Not anymore. You try to withdraw from the C's members and spend most of the February with your other friends. You watch Rio at practice, then you help Hitoshi in student council room. At night, you feed Koromaru and take him for walks. Sometimes, Aigis joins you. You fight to continue living. You can't let the seal take you away. Not yet. You just need to hang on until graduation day. Long enough to honor your promise. Everyone promised to. Everyone agreed to meet up on the rooftop after graduation. Surely they remember, won't they? So, you keep fighting. Just until March 5th. Just until March 5th. It gets more difficult to pull yourself out of bed. Every day your eyelids get heavier and heavier. You're not sure you'd wake up at all if you didn't have an alarm clock. Food starts to lose its taste. What's wrong? Akihiko asks. You look up at him. You spent the afternoon at the strip mall and now you're getting dinner at Hakagori. Nothing's wrong, you lie. Unfortunately, he sees right through you. You've barely touched your food. Indeed, your bowl is still full while his is almost empty. You used to revel in eating as much as you could. You used to love Hagagori's beef bowls. Now they taste like ash. Kotan. He reaches across the table and takes your hand. You know you can rely on me, right? I know, you say. Thanks, Aki. He still blushes when you call him that. It's still cute. I'm just tired, you say, which is true. You take a small bite of your food. Want to head back? He offers. We can ask the servers for a box. You nod. He seems placated, for the time being. And at least Junpei will eat your food if you leave it in the fridge of the dorm. Hand in hand, you and Akihiko leave the restaurant. Some of his friends from school are milling around. As always, Akihiko doesn't notice them. As always, they glare at you. It's almost funny. Your gazes used to sear into you, hurt you to your bones. Now you can't even feel them. Is this what the apathy syndrome victims felt like? You wonder. It can't be. The dark hours and the shadows are gone. Akihiko tells you about his most recent boxing match, happily swinging his hand in yours. He won, of course. You're content with merely nodding and listening. He invites you to come to his next one, a few days from now, his last match before graduating. You agree with a smile. Mitsuru's been busy preparing for graduation. On one of her rare free days, she approaches you after school and invites you to Wild Duck Burger. You agree. You're happy she's making time for you. I must admit, Mitsuru says when you sit down with your burgers, despite repeatedly coming to places like this with you, I still find my confidence in these situations lacking. You've done great so far, Mitsuru-senpai, you tell her. Thank you. Mitsuru takes a bite out of her burger, using her hands just like you taught her. She sighs, finally relaxing. You've been working so hard lately, you remark. Are you remembering to take time for yourself? That's what I'm doing right now, isn't it? She says with a smile. You chuckle. You suppose you're getting enough sleep too? Mitsuru nods. And you're eating well. Kotan, she says, placing a hand over yours. I'm doing fine. Will you allow me to worry about you now? You tilt your head to the side. What are you talking about, senpai? You haven't touched the burger I got you. Oh. You unwrap the burger and take a bite. Sorry. I didn't mean to offend. Mitsuru looked at you. Eyebrows knitted in concern. I'm not offended, she says slowly. Great, you say, flashing her a smile. Mitsuru fixes you with a calculating stare. It's the same look she used to give shadows. She's analyzing you. You realize. You quickly change the subject. You don't want her to know something's wrong. You don't want her to worry about you. It'll just make her life more difficult. And it's not like there's anything she can do. You're going to die. You catch Mitsuru up on what you've done since you last hung out, which was before fighting Nyx. She tells you about her final exams and the college she'll be going to. She tells you about her plans for the Kirijo group. She's so ambitious. She has so much time to plan for. You think you should maybe feel envious, but instead you're happy. Your sacrifice ensures that Mitsuru has a future to plan for. Time passes quickly. You're watching Akihiko's boxing match before you know it. His body must still remember all the training in Tartarus, even if his mind doesn't. His opponent gets KO'd within 5 minutes. All of Akihiko's fans are here cheering him on. You remain silent. 3 months ago, maybe you would have had the energy to cheer too. Akihiko exits the ring with a smile on his face. His grin widens when he sees you standing by the bleachers. He runs up to you. Kotan! He exclaims. You came! You did amazing, Aki. You say over the cheers. His laugh. He laughs and wraps his arms around you. You're a little surprised, but you hug him back anyway. He must be too happy to care about that there are other people around. He even picks you up and spins you around, laughing all the while. You laugh too. When he puts you down and looks into your eyes, the rest of the world falls away. The roar of the crowds diminishes. The people around you blur. All you can see is Akihiko, his soft smile, his gray eyes shining with pride, face flushed from exertion. Let's go home, he says. Hand in hand, lost in your own world, you exit the gym. You don't talk much on the train, just basking in your happiness. Akihiko takes you to his room. It's always his room. You've never invited him to your room. It would just be weird. Your room was where you'd kiss shadows in human form and velvet room attendants. You prefer Akihiko's room anyway. He's very enthusiastic today, you note. As you lie down, he lifts your skirt and uses his tongue between your legs. You gently pull his hair. He's always like that. You've both spent the past few months getting to know each other's bodies. It doesn't take long. You return the favor, then spend the rest of the afternoon cuddling under his covers. Is this what your life could have been like without the dark hour? It's not so bad, you think. But your destiny was sealed the same day Iga sealed death within you. No matter how much you wish for a life like this, it can only be yours for a few moments longer. Akihiko whispers that he loves you. You say you love him too. And it's true. You do love him. You're just not sure how he can love you. You're hiding a part of yourself from him, after all. You're not the Sea's leader anymore. You're just a girl who can keep up with his training regimen. You only met because you're in the same dorm. You mentally shake yourself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. You're going to die. What's the use in thinking about these things? You're going to die. That thought has been in the back of your mind for the past few weeks, but it suddenly hits you. You're going to die. You're dying right now. Someone will watch the light fade from your eyes, the same way you watched it fade from your mother's. Your thoughts start to spiral out of control. You quickly decide you need a distraction. Aki, you whisper, lifting your head off his chest. Yeah, he breathes. Again. You sure? You nod. If you're gonna die, you might as well have fun while you still can. You climb on top of Akihiko and kiss him. He gives you a funny look. You okay? You ask, sitting up. Yeah, he smiles. We don't have to. I know. I want to. Come here. Akihiko pulls you closer. A few days later, you enter the dorm to find Akihiko and Mitsuru sitting on the couch. They look up when you enter and motion for you to sit down. Something wrong? You ask, sitting on a couch across from them. We won't be the one asking questions, Mitsuru says. You snap your mouth shut, sit up straighter. Kotan, Akihiko says. Are you eating enough? Yes, of course. You lie. You'll eat a little bit if your friends take you to a restaurant to be polite. Aside from that, well, you don't feel hungry anymore. And you can't taste anything, no matter how much hot sauce you use. Don't lie to us, Mitsuru says coldly. What's going on with you? We went out for burgers and you barely ate any. I was just tired that day, you try to explain. I've seen you eat 2 beef bowls half asleep, Akihiko counters. Damn. You'd forgot about that. When was the last time you ate? Mitsuru demands. This morning. She levels you with a glare. Don't lie. Yesterday, Junpei and I went to Hagakure. You'd forgotten how scary Mitsuru could be. Why aren't you eating? Akihiko asked sadly. You can't tell him the truth. You can't tell him there's no point in eating because you only have a few weeks left to live. You can't tell him food's lost its taste, so you tell him nothing at all. Mitsuru's gaze softens. We're worried about you. You can rely on us, you know, Akihiko says. After everything you've done for us, it's the least we could do. You smile sadly at them. Mitsuru moves to your couch and grasps your hand. Kotan, please. Let us help you. Akihiko moves to your other side and grasps your other hand. You don't need to handle this alone. But you've always handled things alone. Ever since your parents died, you were passed between relatives who really never cared about you. Grades and tax breaks were all that mattered to them. If you got below a 90, you got hit. If you acted out in school, you sleep outside. You quickly learned you could only rely on yourself. You couldn't be a burden on others. Even with your new family, with C's, you only ever really relied on Aikas and Koromaru, and not very often. Sure, you can trust everyone to have your back in a fight, and you love them all enough to die for them. But how could they know how weak you truly are? That all your strength comes from them, literally and figuratively. But now you're at a crossroads. On one hand, you're burdening Akihiko and Mitsuru by making them worry about you. Letting them help you would ease their worries. On the other hand, you don't want to burden them by relying on them. You look into Mitsuru's eyes, then Akihiko's. Their expressions mirror each other. Worry and love. You can't lie to them. I don't eat because I can't taste anything anymore, you admit. They both look taken aback. Mitsuru recovers first. Loss of appetite is a sign of depression. Are you feeling depressed? Holy shit, yes. A little. Have you tried using hot sauce? Akihiko suggests. Yes. Doesn't work. Would you like me to send you to my family psychiatrist? Mitsuru offers. You shake your head. What would be the point? You're depressed because you're dying for your friends who forgot everything about the apocalypse you stopped together. What kind of psychiatrist would believe you? Well, we won't force you to go into therapy. Mitsuru concedes. However, you still need to eat. Akihiko and I are prepared to force that on you if you need be. You look Mitsuru over. You can see the faint outline of her muscles through her sleeves. She must have retained her Tartarus strength too. That won't be necessary, senpai, you say. Is that so? If we leave right now, will you prepare dinner for yourself and eat it? You don't say anything. Thought so. Akihiko chimes in. He lets go of your hand and enters the kitchen. You can hear him rummaging around in the cabinets. Mitsuru pulls you by the hand into the dining room. You sit down at the head of the table where she usually sits. She sits next to you. Akihiko places a steaming bowl of noodles and wooden chopsticks in front of you. He sits across from Mitsuru. You stare at the food. What is this? It's cup noodles. I even put in hot sesame oil like Shinji used to, Akihiko says. He looks confused for a moment. Your eyes widen and you lean forward, searching Akihiko's face for any sign of recognition. Remember, remember, remember. Go on, Mitsuru says. Eat it. That seems to snap Aki out of it. You pick up your chopsticks and take a small bite. You can't taste the sesame oil. All of it, Akihiko clarifies. You sigh. Why? Because we're not leaving this table until you do. Under their intense stares, you eat your noodles. It's difficult. You don't want to eat. There's no point since you're dying. Moving your chopsticks from the bowl to your mouth feels like an impossible task. But you do it. Fighting Nyx had seemed like an impossible task too. How long have you known? You asked him in between painful bites. Since my last boxing match. Your face reddens. You mean when we... Akihiko clears his throat and nods. He's not looking at you and his face is flustering too. You're lighter than you used to be. He told me afterwards, Mitsuru said, unfazed, and it jogged my memory. You took your burger home that day at Walk. Walk or Duck? At Duck. Walk. I never saw you finish it. You feel a little inadequate. You thought you were pretty good at hiding your feelings. Mitsuru and Akihiko must really care about you to have noticed. We love you, Kotan. Akihiko says, don't push us away. You nod. You'll try not to, you decide. So, Mitsuru says, standing up. Same time tomorrow? Huh? See you there, Akihiko says. He stands up too. They say they have to start packing and retire to their rooms. You remain at the dinner table long after they're gone. True to their word, Akihiko and Mitsuru were waiting for you in the kitchen the next evening. They'd gotten takeout from Hakakori. Enough for 3. You eat with them and make small talk. Mitsuru talks about her upcoming graduation speech. Akihiko talks about the college he's going to. This routine continues until you just can't take it anymore. You know you're taking up their precious time by eating with them. One evening, you decide to cook something for the dorm for the first time since January. Mitsuru and Akihiko smile at you, approving. Junpei and Yukari eat your meal on the couches. Fuka and Ken eat with you at the bar stools. Akihiko and Mitsuru eat at the dining table. You wish everybody would sit together. But at least you're taking care of them. Like Shinji asked you to. And you're taking care of yourself too. You start eating dinner again. Mitsuru and Akihiko eventually trust you enough to stop personally ensuring that you eat. Your occasional dorm dinners become tri-weekly dorm dinners. Everyone starts to get reacquainted. Aigus becomes more withdrawn. On one of your night walks with Koromaru, she mentions that you wishes to have a normal life. After that, she begins avoiding everybody, including you. You wish she wouldn't. You're the only ones who remember everything, but you give her space anyway. Your heart aches as you watch the robot you love drift away. What's the point of all this? Pretending you're a normal person, pretending that your days aren't numbered. What's the point? You're pretty much just waiting for death. Maybe you should withdraw from your friends too. At this point, they'll never remember. As graduation grows even closer, everyone's schedules fill up. They offer to make time for you, but you decline. Looking at their loving expressions hurts too much. They shouldn't love you. You're going to die. You try to distance yourself as much as you can. Maybe that will make your inevitable demise hurt less. You want them to have normal lives for as long as possible. February will be over soon. March 3rd, 2010. Despite your fatigue, you drag yourself out of bed and take the train to school. You run into Junpei at the school gate. Yo, he calls. You give him a cursory nod and you both leisurely stroll onto campus. Damn, it's cold, but of course you'll never miss a day of school. Man, can you believe this year's already over? We're practically seniors now. Just one more year. You think anything interesting will happen? With a small smile, you say, probably not. Well, seeing the current seniors makes me wonder. Your heart clenches, just a bit. Seems like all they're frickin' doing is study, Junpei continues. Talk about boring. Is that gonna be us next year? Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? Because you are. You see Aya standing near the building entrance behind a tree. She's staring longingly at you and Junpei. You understand. You often look at the Seeds members like that. Hey, is that girl looking at us? Junpei asks. You both stop walking. Dude, she's pretty cute. How come I never noticed her before? Yukari arrives looking at Aigus. What are you talking about? She lives in the same dorm as us. Seriously? What's her name then? I don't know. Yukari says. Aigus, you think. It's Aigus. Well then, why are you giving me a hard time? Anyway, it's always crazy in the dorms this time of year, with so many people coming and going. You and Yukari nod. Oh yeah, did you hear? Akihiko Senpai's moving out. You know, captain of the boxing team. You heard. He told you himself. I know who he is, but I haven't really talked to him. Of course, all the graduates are leaving, even Kirijo Senpai. Yukari says. You look down sadly. Mitsuru and Yukari used to be so close. Miss Student Council President Junpei says thoughtfully. She's in our dorm too, huh? Junpei without the dark hour really wasn't very observant, you notes. He used to be, back when he was a part of C's. He even scolded you for not noticing changes in Akihiko's behavior after Shinji was shot. And look at him now. Yukari staring back at Aigis. Man, what is up with that girl? Hey there, she calls. Are you looking at us? Is something wrong? It's nothing. Aigis walks inside. She looks kind of depressed, doesn't she? Junpei says. You have no idea. That's what you want to say anyway. Wait, do you think she might be interested in me? Yukari laughs. I doubt it. You're pretty sure she's in love with you. Actually, you keep that to yourself. You don't want Junpei to pass out. Actually, it would be pretty funny. Ouch. That hurts. Junpei, you say. I think she was staring at me. You let the implication sink in. Junpei freezes and stutters. I think you broke him, Yukari says with a laugh. Come on, Stupe. She drags him forward by the arm. You all walk once more. Junpei stops again and shakes his head. You're so mean, Kotan. Oh, he thinks you were joking. By the way, Yucatan. Junpei trails off. Your eyes light up. Is he going to remember? Will they all finally remember? Never mind, Junpei says. Forget it. Aw, come on. Don't give me that, Yukari says. Well, do you remember how we became friends? I mean, don't take it the wrong way, I was just thinking. He trails off again. Well, it's not like we're best friends or anything, so I guess it just kinda happens. You are best friends. The three of us are best friends, you want to scream. But you're just too tired. Yeah, I guess so, Junpei says, completely oblivious to everything going on in your head. Yukari pauses for a moment. It's kinda weird, actually, now that I think about it, but I can't really explain why. Anyway, that girl. The first bell rings. Oh crap, Junpei says. The three of you rush to class. After school, you take the monorail to Taisumi Memorial Hospital. After school, you take the monorail to Taisumi Memorial Hospital. The nurse recognizes you and lets you pass without a second thought. You used to visit every week. Sometimes you and Akihiko would run into each other here. You know Shinji probably couldn't hear you, but you talked to him anyway. You told him about how Akihiko and Ken were doing, how you were trying to take care of everyone. You discussed the nutritional meals you made for the C's members. During December and January, you even talked about your impending doom. You must have heard that part at least. Why else would you have heard his voice up there? You haven't been in for a while. You suppose you should update him. You pull a chair and sit down. He looks so peaceful. He always does, here. If you ignore the beeps of the machines and the presence of the IVs, he could be sleeping. They've taken off his hat and his dark hair splays out on the pillow. You brush a stray hair all out of his face. He doesn't move. They've got him in a hospital gown instead of his pea coat. You'd only ever seen him out of that coat once. Even now, it's still a bit jarring to see him without it. He should be cold, but when you caress his cheek, it's warm. He wasn't warm the last time you were here. Aside from his body temperature, though, everything is the same as it ever was. Everything is the same as it ever was. Hi, Shinji, you say softly. Everyone at the dorm is doing fine. I'm taking care of them, just like you asked. He doesn't react. You don't know what you expected. I think I'm gonna die soon, you admit with a steady voice. But I'm not scared. I know I should be, but honestly, it's a relief. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of pretending to be normal. Everyone forgot about the Knicks battle. Did you forget too? I heard your voice up there, before anyone else's. So subconsciously, you must have heard everything Akihiko and I told you in January. But now that Knicks and the Dark Hour are gone, everyone's memories are gone too. It's so difficult to pretend this huge part of our lives never happens. But that's what I have to do. Do you know how ridiculous it is that I use the power of my bonds to become the seal between two primordial beings, thus preventing this and any future apocalypse? You chuckle and shake your head. And no one would believe the truth. So I just have to pretend that I'm friends with everyone, because we have coincidentally got assigned to the same dorm. No battle-forged bonds and all that. Worst of all, though, is that no one else is friends with each other. Like Yukari and Mitsuru aren't close anymore. Fuka and Ken are loners again. It looks like the Dark Hour really was the only thing holding us together. I understand now why everyone felt so weird about it ending. It gave us so much, and now it's taken everything away. The only bonds that still remain are the ones that were there before. Akihiko and Mitsuru, Junpei and Yukari. They'd known each other since middle school, so it's strange. Everyone still knows me, but they don't even know each other. I don't see the former Seeds members too often anymore. Initially, intentionally, it hurts too much to pretend that we didn't save the world together. Thankfully, though, Aigis remembers. She's a robot, so I guess memory wipes won't work on her. Koromaru remembers too, somehow. Aigis and I used to take Koromaru on walks every night. You smile at the memory. But now, your smile fades. Now I walk him alone. I don't know what happened. Don't worry too much though. I have some friends outside the dorm too. Ryo and Hitoshi, Yuko. I've been spending most of my time either with them or at bookworms. But what's the point of it all when I'm gonna die anyway? I can't even taste food anymore. Aki and Mitsuru courted me a few weeks ago and forced me to start eating again. So now every few days I make a big meal and share with everybody at the dorm, like you used to. I'm trying to introduce everyone to each other. It's been tentative. No one knows how to act around Aki and Mitsuru. Thankfully though, Fuka and Ken are fitting in well with Junpei and Yukari. So there's that. You let out a sigh. I miss Aigis. I don't understand why she avoids me. But at the same time, I've started to avoid the others too. I want them to have normal lives for as long as possible. I don't want them to be sad when I die. Maybe that's an unreasonable request. I'm sure my parents didn't want to be sad. I'm sure my parents didn't want me to be sad for them either. You chuckle, humorously. You gaze at Aki. You gaze at Shinji's resting form. He hasn't moved this whole time. Why am I even here? You wonder aloud. You aren't going to wake up. Even if you do, there's no way you'll remember either. Even so, I wanted to see you one last time before you trail off. Shinji's bloody hand reaches towards you. You grasp it tightly with both of your own. Take care of the others, he grits out. I will, you say, tears sliding down your cheek. I promise. Kotan, don't cry, he says, voice getting fainter with every word. This is how it should be. Then he passes out in Akihiko's arms, and his hand goes limp. You can't do nothing but stare as tears silently stream down your face. Ken's screams echo in the dark alley. I'm sorry, Shinji, you mutter. I can't keep my promise to you. You lean in and kiss his forehead. When you return to the dorm for the evening, Koromaru greets you with a quiet bark. You pat his head. You grab some dog food and put it into his bowl. You look out the window pensively while he eats. All is quiet. It doesn't seem like the others have returned yet. They all must be enjoying the peaceful evening. Even though you just returned from school, you're feeling very tired. You decide to go to sleep early tonight. Koromaru follows you into the bathroom. He stays by your side as you brush your teeth. He follows you into your room. You let him lie next to you on the bed. When he looks at you, you can sense that he understands. He knows you don't have long. He wants to spend what little time you have left together. Okay, Goro-chan, you can stay with me. He nuzzled you happily. You quickly drift off to sleep. Falling asleep is so easy these days. March 4th, 2010. After school, you make small talk with the students lingering in your class while you pack your bag. Did you hear? A girl asks you. You think her name is Teiko. You shake your head. You know, about Shinjiro-senpai. You freeze. The guy who got caught up in some kind of shooting. He's been in a coma for months. I heard he woke up. Oh God, what if he comes to school? I'm scared. Is that true? You finally managed to say. My doctor at the hospital said he had something in his breast pocket, and that's what saved them. Or something like that. What was it that he had said? The watch you found at the police station. He had it that night. It'll be a while before he gets out though, Teiko continued, clearly not noticing you going through the 5 stages of grief. He must be weak after such a long sleep, huh? Shinjiro's awake. Will he be coming back to the dorm? No. You have to remind yourself again that he doesn't remember. None of them do. The watch must have blocked Takaya's second shot. Maybe he remembers you then. You certainly can't forget him, or the night you spent together a few days before you went into critical condition. Your heart clenches once again. You try to summon up the energy to go to Tatsumi Memorial Hospital to visit him like yesterday. To see if he remembers, but it wouldn't be worth using all that energy just to be let down. He doesn't know about everyone's promises. You sigh. It doesn't matter, really. You probably can't even leave the hospital. He won't be there on graduation day. You resolve to instead use your remaining energy to talk with all of your friends at school one last time. You might be too tired tomorrow. You scan your classroom. Junpei and Yukari are still here. You approach Junpei. He's looking out the window wistfully. You tap him on the shoulder. He turns around and grins when he sees you. Kotan, long time no see, huh? You give him a smile. You okay? You tilt your head to the side. You look exhausted. You are exhausted. I know what'll cheer you up. Let's go to Hagagori and eat some ramen. You nod and follow Junpei to his desk while he packs up his stuff. You're a treat, right? Yikes. No way, I don't have extra cash right now. We're best friends, aren't we? No sponging off of friends. He pounced at you before breaking into giggles. Man, I never imagined I'd be such good friends with you when you first transferred here. He pauses for a moment, looking inquisitive. Junpei tells you about how much he learned from you. Mainly that girls aren't so different from boys. He tells you how much he values your relationship. Let me know if you're ever going through some hard times, okay? Junpei says, putting a hand on your shoulder. If you can't say it, just give me a sign. Even if we end up at different classes next year, I'll always rush to your rescue. That's a very sweet offer. It almost brings a tear to your eye. But how can you communicate to him that you probably won't live to see the end of March, or even the end of the week even? Unaware of your inner Toromali? Unaware of your inner Toromali. Junpei continues. Oh yeah. Have you heard? All the new teachers that are coming in April are female. Kenji's totally psyched about it. I mean, it got to the point I couldn't even stand being around him. I don't know how Rio puts up with him, you say. Junpei nods in agreement. Well, that doesn't matter to me. I've got a girl that I care about. You lean forward and stare into Junpei's eyes. They're clouded with confusion. Chidori, remember her. Come on. I did have someone, right? Am I forgetting something really important? Something I should never forget. Junpei lifts his bag from his chair, looking conflicted. Sorry. I'm gonna pass on the ramen. He apologizes once more before leaving the classroom. You sigh, dismayed. He was so close to remembering. Chidori's still recovering in the hospital. You'd look in on her when you went to see Shinjiro yesterday. Without Junpei, she's all alone. You hope he remembers soon. You turn and spot Yukari standing near the front of the desk, typing away on her phone. You walk up to her and she puts her phone down. Kotan, great to see you, she says cheerfully. She looks you up and down. You feeling alright? You look a little pale. Make sure you go to bed early tonight, okay? You nod. Good. Now come with me. Yukari grabs your hand and leads you to the roof. Yukari leans on the railings, looking out at the sparkling ocean. You stand next to her. She nervously asks you to meet her mom. She says she really wants you to see her. She nervously asks you to meet her mom. She says she really wants to see her, but is scared of them hurting each other again. Having your support would mean a lot to her. She looks into your eyes, awaiting your answer. You'll probably be dead. You'll probably be dead before you get the chance to meet Yukari's mother. You know Yukari is strong enough to handle this herself, but you tell her what she wants to hear. Of course, Yukari. I'll be there for you. Yukari breathes a sigh of relief. Thank God. She gives you a big hug. Well then, she says, after letting you go. I'll call her up right away. I've been putting this off for so long. Let's see. How does during spring break sound? That sounds great. She looks out at the ocean again. Man, spring break's almost here. We're already seniors. I wonder if we're going to have all new people come to our dorm. It'd be nice if we get along with them. I mean, we really never interacted with Mitsuru Senpai or Akihiko Senpai after all. Speak for yourself, you mutter under your breath. Yukari doesn't hear it. At the end of the year, we'll graduate and go to college, and then start a career. She wonders. That feels like it's a long way off. You nod. It does. Especially since you won't be experiencing any of those things. But you're so glad that Yukari is thinking about her future. No more dark hour. No more fighting. Yukari gets to live as a normal high school student. You smile. This is what your sacrifice brought. You still wish everyone would remember. But more than anything, you just want them to be happy. I wonder what's going to happen to us. Yukari pauses for a moment, pondering. You certainly know what your future holds. Anyway, just remember to keep a day open during spring break, okay? I'll get in touch with you later. See ya. Yukari leaves you there on the roof. You look up at the sky. It's a beautiful day, if a little cold. On the bench below you is where Ryuji confesses feelings to you. After you snuck into the school over the weekend, you smile at the memory. You briefly wonder where he is, if he even exists anymore. That had been his voice after the final battle, right? So he must be out there somewhere. You hope he's having fun. You look out at the sea. The monorail zooms over the water. Cars inch their way across the moonlight bridge. You build a good life for yourself here. You think your parents would be proud of you. You hope anyway. They probably envisioned a much longer life for you. You let out a breath and make your way to the second-year hallway. Fuka is standing outside class 2E. She seems to be waiting for you. What's up, Fuka? You ask as you approach. She lets out a little gasp. The enemy. She lets out a little gasp. Kotan, are you okay? She brushes her bangs out of your face and places the back of her hand on your forehead. You feel normal, but you look so pale. Take care of yourself, okay? You nod. Looks like everyone's going to figure it out soon. Your response seems to say to her, well, since I have you here, will you come to the faculty office? I want you to ask Mr. Ikodai something. You nod again and follow Fuka downstairs. Turns out she wants to ask Mr. Ikodai for permission to start a tech club. He tells her that she needs at least 5 members for it to be official. Oh, he's gone, Fuka says, watching Mr. He's gone, Fuka says, watching Mr. Ikodai walk away. Well, looks like I need to find 5 people. I could just make it an unauthorized club like the cooking club, but Fuka trails off, looking at you shyly. Kotan, would you like to join my tech club? No, you want to say. Not because you don't want to, but because you won't be alive long enough to count as a member. You look at Fuka. Her eyes shine with hope. Okay, you say instead. She fist pumps. Yes. I'm so glad. I was hoping you would say that. She gazes at you pensively. I thought liking electronics made me strange. I always kept it to myself because I thought it was strange for a girl to be interested in that. But you know how I gave you those headphones? You nod. They're around your neck right now. They're one of your most treasured possessions. While I was making them, Fuka continues. I had so much fun and felt so happy. When I thought about how they'd make you happy, I couldn't help but feel excited. It was the same feeling I felt when I cooked for you, Kotan. You raise your eyebrows, taken aback by Fuka's honesty. You feel your cheeks heat up. Fuka was rarely this forward with her feelings. She keeps talking, telling you her motivations behind cooking. I wanted to study cooking because I wanted to make something that you and everyone else would enjoy, Fuka admits. Everything just became fun once I remember that. I like everyone, including you, Kotan. I want you all to always be happy. Everyone else, you all. Who's she talking about? Sees? Once I realized that, I figured that I should make everyone happy with what I'm really good at. That's why I decided to form a tech club. I want to improve my skills and make various things that everyone can use. Fuka furrows her eyebrows then, looking confused. You recognize his look. It's the same one that Aki got in February, that Junpei had a few minutes ago. Is she about to? I keep saying everyone, she pauses. But who am I talking about? It makes me feel really warm inside. I like them, but I can't remember their faces. Remember, remember, remember. Please, Fuka. Come on. She shakes her head to snap herself out of it. Oh, I almost forgot. The cooking club will continue to meet too. I'll be really busy, but I want to keep trying. It's like I really want to give it everything I have. I'd be happy if you showed up to the cooking club again next year. And if you want, the tech club will welcome you too. Fuka pats you on the arm. Alright, I need to hurry and find some tech club members. First, I need to make some posters as well. See you later. She walks away excitedly. You smile after her. You look around. Fuka. Left you outside the faculty office. Someone calls your name. It's Mr. Ono. Standing by the door to the office, he waves you over and gives you a letter. From Andre, Laurent, Jean, Direxon. Just butchered that. It takes you a minute to remember whose name that actually is. It's all written in Haganaga. Hiraganaga. Hirajinata. It makes you smile. Hello, Kota-sama. This is BB. You can picture a smiling face. BB showed his uncle the kimono he made with you and got permission to return. You sense BB's joy through his words. Still, you feel the prang of guilt. Whenever he returns, you likely won't be here. You shake your head and continue. But BB decided not to come back. Huh? I guess you didn't need to worry about that after all. Ultimately, he decided against it, electing to remain in France and help his uncle through his grief. His handwriting left an impression on the paper. He seemed very determined to return to Japan on his own. You're proud of him. He even entered clothes into a fashion contest and won the first prize. Japan and France, Kota-sama and BB. They are far apart, but I will always be close. Even if you can't see me, that will not change. Indeed, you can still feel the strength. You can still feel the strength of your bond. You can't access the Velvet Room any longer. You've tried. You wanted to see Theo and Elizabeth and Igor, anyone who remembered, but somehow you can still sense the bond. You wonder if, you hope, BB can sense it too. Every day was fun. A lot. Even if you do bad things. Even if you become famous. Even if you get married. My feelings, they do not change. BB will always love Kotan-sama. BB. The words near the end are smeared. You read the last line again, then once more. Part of you is flattered that he wrote out the kanji, and another part of you finds it endearing how he clearly tried to write it a few times, crossed out the attempts before he got it right. A much bigger part of you is in shock. You've never heard anyone use such strong language to confess love, not even your parents. You wonder if BB understands the weight of his words. A prang of guilt courses through you. He'll never get to see you again. He shouldn't love you. You think not for the first time. That you should never have made friends here in the first place. You got through most of your life alone. Sure, you had some superficial friends, but you never before felt the love you cultivated during your year here on Port Island. Because people always disappoint you. It's inevitable. This time, though, you're the one doing the disappointing. At the beginning, you only made friends because Igor and Theodore and Elizabeth encouraged you to. They all emphasized the importance of bonds translated into persona strength. Becoming stronger made Tartarus a little safer. Unfortunately, as you grew closer to everybody, your once cold heart softened, and you grew to love and trust everyone the way they loved and trusted you. You shake off the guilt, shove it to the back of your minds. Those people love you. They deserve a goodbye. You haven't finished making the rounds. You leave the faculty hallway and pass the entrance hall on your way back upstairs. You see Hitoshi by the lockers. You stop to say hello, or rather, goodbye. Kotan-kun, are you feeling alright? You look pale. Hitoshi says. You nod. Okay. He doesn't look convinced. Take care of yourself, alright? You muster up a smile and nod once more. Hitoshi tells you he decided to quit the student council. He says the best thing for society is more education. He wants to become a teacher. You don't laugh like how he expects you to. You think it's a really good idea actually, and you tell him so. He hints at something. That he cares for you more than he lets on. You give him a kiss on the cheek and make your way back upstairs. You stand outside the student council room apprehensively. You're technically a member, so you have every right to go inside. What gives you pause is the potential goodbye hiding within. It's one of the ones you're sure will be more difficult than the others. Mitsuru had opened up to you so much this past year. You know she's strong, that she'll be okay without you. You're just not sure you'll be okay without her. Because you won't be dying, not really. You'll be condemned to an eternity of holding back mankind's greatest sins. And you'll be condemned alone. You take a deep breath and shake your head. You can't smile right now. You have a job to do. You check your watch. The one Shinjiro gave you before everything. It's not too late yet. Mitsuru is still here. You decide to enter. You need to say goodbye to her too. When the door slides open, Mitsuru turns to see who enters. Her tired face seems to lighten up a bit when she sees you. Kotan. Hi, Mitsuru-senpai. You say. She beckons you closer. You stand together near the window, looking out at all the students heading home for the day. Mitsuru suddenly grabs your face with both hands, tilting your head this way and that. You find yourself blushing once again. Senpai, what are you? You have been eating, haven't you? She asks. You nod. Sleeping? You nod again. Mitsuru hums. You look tired. You nod once more. You seem consonant. Just make sure you take care of yourself, okay? Okay, you promise. Mitsuru lets go of you. You kinda wish she hadn't. She turns back to the window. I'm feeling reminiscent today, she begins. This room brings back memories. I was only away for a little while due to exams. The results haven't been posted yet, but I don't have any doubts that I passed. You think you did all right too. Mitsuru tells you about her busy schedule. Exams, going to university, leading the Kirijo group after her father's passing. You take in Mitsuru's appearance. You mentally berate yourself for not noticing it before. She looks almost as tired as you. She works so hard, you don't have much time left, but any way I can help you offer? Mitsuru chuckles. Of course you can. In fact, there's something only you can do. You nod. Anything you need. Who else will help me relax if I become exhausted? Who will be by my side? She turns away from the window to fully face you. Soon. I'll be saying my farewells to the dorm too. I've been slowly packing up my things, but it's not going too well. Everything brings back memories. A book, a picture, a piece of clothing, and so on. She smiles to herself. You wonder what kind of things Mitsuru has found. She's been in the Seams door since middle school, right? There must be so many memories buried in that room. My senior year seems short but very full. Mitsuru continues. It went by so quickly, especially after you arrived. She takes your hand. Everything's changed with you. If you hadn't come to the school, I wonder what would have become of me. I wonder what would have become of me. Would I have accepted my arranged marriage? Would I have gotten my motorcycle one day?
driven off and never returned. Motorcycle, you joke. She laughs again. Such a pleasant sound. Fate is a mysterious thing, but there's no use dwelling on the past. I have things that must be done to secure a future for the Corrijo group and myself. Her gaze hardens. I will not hesitate to put forth the effort. I swore that to you. Mitsuru looks out the window, then back at you. Come visit the Corrijo East Day sometimes. We shall have tea with everyone. You nod. I'd like that. She smiles at you. Your heart skips a beat. Our relationship isn't one that will end with graduation, right? Of course not. I wonder how we'll change as time passes. I look forward to finding out. She looks at you earnestly. For the first time, you shy away from her gaze. Your relationship has no future. You feel bad for letting her hope. Ultimately, though, you know there's nothing either of you can do. Mitsuru doesn't notice your reaction. She's looking at the clock above the door. It's almost time. I have to be on my way. I wish we could see each other back at the dorm, but I'll be late tonight. Maybe this weekend. Sure, you say non-committingly. Well, see you. She lets go of your hands. You reluctantly let go of her hand too. You thought maybe. It doesn't matter. You don't get to want anything, to be selfish like this. Not when you're gonna die. You turn to leave. Oh, Kotan. Hold on, Mitsuru calls before you get to the door. You look at her questionably. You forgot something. She strides towards you. What is it? She cups your face again, much gentler than when you first came in. This, she whispers before she leans in. You're so shocked, you forgot to close your eyes until her lips pressed against yours. You relax against her, wrapping your arms around her neck. It's a brief, Chisette kiss, but it still leaves you flustered and breathless. I wanted to do that for quite some time, Mitsuru admits sheepishly. Stroking her thumb across your cheek, I felt it would be an abuse of power, but starting tomorrow I won't be a student anymore. I hope that it wasn't untoward. You're still a little starstruck, but you managed to squeak out a no. She laughs quietly. I'm happy to hear that. Well, go on. I'm sure you have things to do. You nod and turn to leave. Then you double back and give her a hug. That draws another happy laugh out of her. You're happy you got to kiss her before the end. Maybe it's cruel. She doesn't know what's going to happen. For the first time, you feel sad about your coming death. But given that you're dying so she and everyone else can have a future, you think it's okay to selfishly enjoy and return her affection. You take a moment to steady your heartbeat and leave the student council room. BP's letter reminded you of another friend who's gone far away. Sayori. You don't expect a letter from her, but you walk into the library anyway, for old time's sake. The door is unlocked, but there's no one inside. Someone calls your name and you turn around. Miss Onoshi is standing at the entrance, waving you over. She gives you a letter from Sayori and leaves. You decide to read it at the table where you and Sayori used to work at when you were on the library committee. She's doing well at her new school. She's made friends and is happy. She even tells you about how she ended up being sent abroad in the first place. The unfair situation ignites the protectiveness she always felt towards Sayori. Her parents really suck. She even feels guilty for not telling you this in person. You don't hold it against her, truly. You understand. After all, you're keeping a huge secret from your closest friends. You try not to think about that and continue reading. After we started being friends, I began to want something more than a casual friendship. I wanted you to come to understand me. Is she confessing her love? You selfishly hope so. You always felt a deeper connection to her. Another prang of guilt courses through you. One more person whose life will be deeply affected by your death. You wish for a moment that you could write back to her and BB and everyone You wish you could leave a note explaining it all, but there's no point. No one remembers anyway. No one would understand. You're a little angry at yourself for getting swept up in your own feelings again. You keep reading. It's much easier to go with the flow. Not doing that is to stand up for what you taught me. It means I'm alive, and I'm meant to be alive. It's almost spring break, but I won't be going back home. I haven't contacted my parents either, but one day I want to be able to say that I'm glad I'm living. But then, I want to be able to thank my parents. And this is all because I had a friend like you. Thank you. With my deepest gratitude, Sayori. Hashigawa. Hashigawa. I think that's how you say it. The butcher. It warms your heart to hear how Sayori has regained control of her life, her destiny. She wrote that she got that strength from you. Little does she know that she got strength from her too. Little does she know that you got strength from her too. You look around the library one last time, memories flashing through your minds, studying with Junpei, writing that advice column with Sayori, more studying with Junpei, that 1C study group you had. Unfortunately, you hadn't managed to sneak Koromaru in, but Ken had been able to tag along. You take a deep breath and stand. You leave the letter on the table. It gives you some resolve to continue. You have other people to see. Rio is probably still practicing. You decide to go see her next. You pause on the outside corridor of the practice building and look at the persimmon tree. They hadn't moved it yet. You think of Bonchi. You think of Bonkachi and Mitsuko. And Mitsuko. You think of Bonchi and Mitsuko and smile. You'll go see them after you finish your goodbyes here at the school. Kotan, you hear someone call. You turn from the tree. It's Akihiko. Approaching with a bright smile on his face, you smile back. Hi, Aki, you say quietly. His smile fades as he gets closer. He pushes your bangs back and touches your forehead with the back of his hand, mirroring Fuka's earlier actions. He doesn't seem to find anything wrong. He moves his hand down to cup your face, thumbing traces of circles under your eyes. Are you okay? Akihiko asks. You look. You nod. I'm fine, senpai. He frowns down at you. Have you been eating? He asks in a quieter voice. Yes. And it isn't even a lie. He doesn't let go of you. Continues gazing into your eyes. Some of the girls walking by are glaring so hard it's almost comical. After a bit longer, his hands fall to his sides. Get some good sleep tonight, he instructs. You nod. What are you doing here anyway? I'm feeling a little nostalgic. Akihiko leans over the railings and looks at the persimmon tree. So I'm taking a look around the school right now. This is my last chance after all. He takes your hand and interlaces your fingers. It might have felt like forever at the time, but now it seems like those years went by in a flash. He smiles, reminiscing. All I did was box for all 3 years. His smile fades, replaced by a confused frown. Is that really all I did? You shake your head, but he isn't looking at you. Maybe he did box, but he didn't only fight against human opponents. Come on, Aki, please, remember. After a few moments, he remembers your presence and looks at you. Oh, no. We had some good times together. I enjoyed those. If we hadn't been in the same dorm, we might have never even met. You fight back the frown, trying to overtake your current expression. Akihiko says something about the mysterious ways of the world. Mysterious my ass. Dark Hour, Tartarus, Shadows, Seal, Ryoji, Nyx, Ebus, Erebus. There's a growl threatening to tear itself out of your throat. I'm going to leave the dorm soon, you hear Akihiko say. over the cacophony of noise in your head. I won't be able to be at your side all the time like I can now. He squeezes your hands, but that's not going to change anything. You raise an eyebrow at him, teasing. Well, I mean, his cheeks color. My feelings for you aren't going to change. So, don't be sad. Alright? Alright. You agree, but you can't help it. You'll miss him when you're gone. If anything, you should be the one telling him this. Akihiko starts talking about Shinjiro. You carefully school your expression in the blank mask. It's gotten easier to do lately. Apparently Shinjiro was injured in an incident. Bullshit. Akihiko deserves to know, but you can't bring yourself to tell him, to destroy the calm reality he thinks he lives in. You give his hand an encouraging squeeze. His sorrowful expression slowly fades. Well, he says, I've got some other people to say goodbye to. Yeah, me too, you say. Huh? His head tilts to the side. God, he's so cute. You're friends with other upperclassmen? Yep. Liar. I should go. He nods. See you tonight? Sure. If I could stay awake that long. You let go of your boyfriend's hands and turn away. It's painful. You wish you had more time with him. With everyone. You find Rio in the gym, staring nostalgically at the volleyball court. Together you reminisce about everything that happened over your junior year. Rio thanks you for making volleyball fun again. She intends to get a volleyball scholarship and go all the way to the Olympics. You clap her on the shoulder and tell her that you believe in her. When she leaves, you breathe a sigh of relief. That should be everyone. At school anyway. Now you have to go around town and say even more goodbyes. God, this is almost as draining as holding back the seal. Almost. You mentally run through everyone's arcanas as you change your shoes. You should be able to find everyone, or at least visit your old haunts, as you made one final trek into town, except Ken. You doubted you'd see him at the dorm tonight. As soon as you got home, you were heading straight to bed. As you leave the school, you spot Ken standing near the gate. He shyly waves at you. You go up to him. Oh, Koto-san, are you feeling alright? He asks with a worried look. You're looking a little pale. You shrug. You don't feel like lying to him. I don't know, Ken. He pauses for a few moments, searching for the right words. Finally, he settles on. Please take care of yourself, Koto-san. He even bows for good measure. His gesture warms your heart. What are you doing here anyway? You say, shaking your head in amusement. Oh, I came today to drop off something that Akihiko-senpai forgot, Ken explains. You might not think so from the way he looks, but Akihiko-senpai is a little soft in the head sometimes. You laugh. You know, you remember the time you were looking for the gym key together and he couldn't find it, despite it being right in front of him and clearly labeled. Ken pauses, looking confused. Forget. Do you remember that person named Shinjiro-senpai? He stayed at our dorms for a little while. You nod. I'd never had a chance to talk to him, Ken muses. But every time I think about him, I feel this pain and sadness. I get all these mixed feelings that I don't understand. It makes me think that I need to do something. I don't know what though. I wonder why. He trails off, frowning. You sigh inaudibly. You've long since given up on hope of anyone remembering. Though they seem to all have the same confused expressions. Ken jumps a little, seemingly remembering that you're here. Oh, I'm sorry. It was just easy to talk to you. You smile. So I've heard. Oh yeah. Koto-san, he starts. You tilt your head to the side. You know how it's almost spring break. Why don't we do something together? How about shopping? He looks at you expectantly, hopefully. Ken, I'm dying, you should say. I'm sorry, but I shouldn't commit to anything I don't know my own plans. Would be more appropriate. In the end, though, you caved to his request and promised to keep a day open for him. Coward. Shut up. Oh, good. Now you're talking to yourself in your own head. You don't even have a good excuse this time. Orpheus isn't in there anymore. No one is. Ken's smile lights up his entire face. Thank you. It's been a while since I've looked forward to a break like this, I think. It's been since my mom was still alive. Oh God, how could you do this? Commit to something, get his, everyone's, hopes up, but then just up and die on them. Ken must interpret your pained expression as confusion, because the next thing he says is, "Oh, did I ever tell you? My mom died in an accident." He looks away with a sad frown. An accident. Technically, he wasn't wrong, but ever since then, Ken continues. I never look forward to holidays or breaks. When I'm at school, I can forget about what happened, but he smiles again. But now I have you with me, Koto-san. I won't cry anymore. Thank you, Koto-san. Thank you for not treating me like a kid. I can look forward to the future because of you. I'll be able to live with my head held high. That's how I feel. He bows once more. Your heart swells with pride as you bow back. You've watched him and everyone else grow so much this past year. These conversations you've had today. These goodbyes. Hearing everyone excitedly discuss their futures with you. It makes it all worth it. With this final conversation with Ken, you realize you won't even mind if they never remember. As long as they continue to live their lives the way they want to, you're happy. You sacrifice yourself again, a million times over, if it secured their happiness. With this thought, you finally think you're ready to go. After a few more goodbyes, that is. And you did promise to meet everyone on the roof tomorrow after graduation. Once you fulfill that promise, you can leave this world, become the seal, without regrets. Well, mostly. You still wish you could speak with Shinjiro one last time. You wonder what his perception of life would be like without his memories of the Dark Hour. Now, get going, Ken commands, snapping you out of your thoughts. You need to get better quickly. Yes, sir. You salute him and start walking to the station. You blink back a few tears as stare down the entrance to Bookworms. Bun and Mint are the closest things you have to parents anymore, and you're the closest thing they have to a son anymore. They've already lost one child, and now they're about to lose you too. You force yourself to go inside. Bun says you've grown so much since he last saw you. Mint says that's not possible and that they probably shrunk. They're thinking about remodeling Bookworms. Gecko-kun decided to move the persimmon tree to another field on a hill where it can be seen from anywhere on the campus. They're so happy about that. That way, their son can watch over everyone. As you leave, Mitt calls after you. Come visit us anytime. You smile, fighting back tears. It's one of the most difficult things you have ever had to do. Then you leave. You smile, fighting back tears. It's one of the most difficult things you've ever had to do. Then you leave. The bell on the door sounds like the tolling of your death knell as you leave Bookworms for the final time. You aimlessly wander towards the club. Maybe a visit from that vulgar old monk will make you feel better. Maybe he'll tell you to fuck off. Maybe he'll even have some wisdom for you. You walk towards Club Escapar. Anyway, to think, if you'd only lived 3 more years, then you might have been allowed in. As you walk in, the bartender calls out to you. He remembers they used to talk to the monk upstairs. Then he disappears behind the bar, searching for a message. Mitsusuyu. Yutatsu seemingly left you. The bartender somehow managed to nail his tone, in spite of his bad handwriting. Matatsu had made up to his wife and son, united with his family, and he insists it's all because of you. You wish he was here so you could tell him that all he needed was a little push, and that was what you gave him. He's the one who did this. You barely did anything at all. You turn on your heel and leave the bar. There's another man there, looking about as depressed as you feel. You wonder if he's dying too. You make your way to Naginaki's shrine in front of the fortune box, you find Koromaru. It feels weird to see him without the siege uniform, but he's a normal dog now. No more personas. He wants to stay in front of the shrine for a little while. You can tell he's thinking about his old owner. You sit with him for a while. Afterwards, you find Mako's dad by the playground. He buys you some of Mako's favorite takoyaki and tells you a bit about her new life. She's made a lot of friends at her new school. She's having fun with her mother. Mako says she wishes you two would become family one day. Her dad asks you to go out with him when you're 18. You look at him incredulously. He retracts his statement and runs off. After one of the weirder experiences of your life, you go sit at the bench where you and Akinari used to meet on Sundays. He's probably passed by now. You wish he was still around. He's probably the only person in the world who understands what you're going through. She tells you she's Akiri's mother, and he used to talk about you quite often. You listen to her as she reminisces. Today, March 4th, was Akiara's birthday. He would have been 20. Towards the end, she says, he was happy to have lived. She resolves to live her life to its fullest, to travel to the most exotic locations, to eat the finest food, and to do everything Akinari never got to. She tells you about the fable she was writing. She laments that he never got to finish it. You rummage through your bag until you find the notebook he gave you. He did finish it, you say. She tells you to keep the notebook. You can't bring yourself to tell her that you're dying too. You simply put the notebook back in your bag, and as she gives you some final advice, something about holding those dearest to you close, because you never know how much time you'll have left. She leaves without looking back. When you return to the dorm, you notice someone left the TV on. It's playing a news report. They're doing a special report on the president, Takanaka. Apparently he's called a press conference to announce something. You watch the report as you write your name on the sign-in sheet. Like the showman he is, he exits the building and approaches the press while singing an outrageously catchy song. He notices his new business venture, Tanaka's Amazing Commodities. Then he gets into his car and drives off. The news station receives a fax that tells him that all the money from his commodities will go directly to him, not his company. You chuckle. That's depictably vague of him. You know all the money from selling those goods will go towards charities. That's what he said he'd do that night at Polinawa Mall. Once the news switches to another topic, you realize you're feeling tired. You can't keep your eyes open. Koromaru follows you to the bedroom and sleeps next to you once again. You know that you don't have much longer. You can't be the seal and live your life. That's too much to ask for. Fate is cruel, you know that. But you signed a contract. Your actions are your own. You accepted your fate. This is the choice you made. Tomorrow is graduation day. March 5th, 2010. It's difficult to pull yourself out of bed, but you know if you don't, you'll never wake up again. You check the time, you're late for the ceremony. No matter. You all agree to meet afterwards, not during. You drag yourself to your desk and take a seat, looking around at all the old homework assignments. Koromaru sits under your legs. There's a knock at your door. It's me, Igus. May I please come in? You stand and let her in. Thank goodness, she says. I was so happy to see you again. I'm so sorry to show up so suddenly, but I really needed to talk to you. Me too, you say. I remember everything, Igus says. Everyone seems to have forgotten, but I remember. That day You nod. I remember too. Koromaru barks. He says, I remember, Igus translates. I'm sorry I kept my distance, it's just that, when I remembered, I was afraid you might go somewhere far away like you did at the last battle. You don't say anything. The call of the seal is difficult to resist today. It pulls at you in the form of fatigue. Your eyes start to close. Graduation's today, isn't it? Igus's voice cuts through the fog. You refocus on her. I'm sorry. The ceremony's already begun. Igus looks out your window. Such nice weather today. You remember, right? The promise we all made? You nod. Koromaru barks his agreement. Why don't we go there and wait for the others, she suggests. We can enjoy the view of this peaceful city. Aigis helps you up the stairs. You reach the roof of Gekkokan. You're leaning on her so heavily she might as well be carrying you. She even offers to, but you decline. You need to come here on your own 2 feet before you can't anymore. At Aigis' invitation, you're resting your head on her lap. Koromaru rests his head next to yours, on Aigis' other side. The warm sunlight and gentle wind feel good on your resting body. The wind feels so nice. Aigis takes a deep breath. This is my first time experiencing spring, but this season will eventually pass. After fighting alongside you and facing the world's end, I finally began to understand what it means to live. Thinking for yourself. Thinking for yourself. Not running away. Accepting the inevitable. All things eventually come to an end. Every living thing will disappear one day. Only by accepting this can one discover what they truly want. What the meaning of their life will be. You smile up at her. She's grown so much. She's become so human. Aigis continues. I understand now why I was so tormented by the lack of my strength. Protecting others became more than just an order I had to obey. I wanted to do it for my own reasons. I realized this once I decided to try and prevent the fall. When I thought I might never see you again, something else became so clear to me. What I wanted. You frown, confused. And so, I made up my mind. I decided that I would continue to protect you. I want to be your strength. I know I'm not the only one who can do this, but that's okay. My life will be worth living if it's for this reason. Thank you. A tear falls down Aigis' cheek. You lift your hand to wipe it away. Don't cry, you say. It'll be okay. Aigis grasps your hand with both of hers, holding it close to her face. You're right. What am I doing? I understand now. So I should be happy. You hear Junpei's voice, and Yukari's, and Mitsuru's, and Akihiko's, and Fuka's, and Ken's. Their voices all overlap, calling out to you. Aigis looks behind her. Everyone. I realize now that I have friends as well. You don't have to save the world to find meaning in life. Sometimes all you need is something simple. Someone to take care of. I'll keep on living no matter what, so that I can protect you. Aigis is smiling softly. The gentle spring sunlight warms your body. The cheering you hear from afar. The slightly chilly wind. This is the world you and your friends protected. You feel a little sleepy. Thank you for everything, Aigis says. You hear footsteps getting closer. You force your eyes open and look around. Shinjiro. He's out of breath. It seems like he rushed over before everyone else. He grasps and coughs and wheezes, then kneels next to you. You could hardly believe he's here. Kotan. I'll make a sick guy push himself so hard. His words sound angry when he's smiling at you. It's pretty pathetic of me to forget the way I did. But even then, my feelings for you were the same as always, he chuckles. I got one thick skull, huh? You smile up at him. The girl I saw in my dreams. It was you. You were crying and laughing like the usual. He laughs a bit, then embraces you tightly. Yeah, this ain't a dream, he mutters. You're really here. With one of your final bursts of strength, you pull him close, pressing your lips against his. He smiles into the kiss. You smile too. You can hear footsteps and several voices drawing near. Shinjiro gives you one more kiss and looks behind him. Man, those guys sure know how to ruin a moment. In the bright sunlight and the warmth of Shinjiro's arms. Shinji, you say weakly. He gazes at you intently. It's up to you now. Take care of everyone, you whisper. What are you talking about, Kontan? He seems confused. Surely he can tell. You're not just tired. You're not just resting. You're dying. Promise me. You lift your hand reaching towards him. He grasps it in his own. I promise. You smile up at him. Aigus brushes your bangs out of your face. Shinjiro's thumb lightly caresses your knuckles. You look between him and Aigus fondly. Their expressions mirror each other as they look down at you. Happiness, love, and a little uncertainty. Not seeing Shinjiro again was your only regret. Now that he's here, you can finally rest. You close your eyes. I'm glad I met you.
You nod. He seems placated.
I must admit, Mitsuru says when you sit down. I must admit, Mitsuru, you catch Mitsuru up on what you've been doing since you last hang out. You think you should feel maybe don't lie. Yesterday, Junpei and I went to Hakakori. Sadly at them. Would you like me to send you to my family's? You gave him a courtesy nod. Courtesy. You see Aigus standing near the building entrance behind a tree. She's staring longingly at you. She's staring long. Oh, fucking God, bro. I'm so fucking hungry. Face flushed from extortion. Hand in hand, lost in your own world, you exit the gym. You don't talk much on the train, just basking in your happiness. Did you hear a girl ask you? You think her name is Taco? Tico?
But how can you communicate? But how can you communicate? But
I'm going to leave the dorm soon. You hear Hiko say over the cat. You blink black. Aigus helps you up the stairs. Fuck. You're resting on her head. You hear Junpei's voice, and Yukari's, and Mitsuru's, and Ken's, and Fuka's. Let me do that one more time. Yeah, this ain't a dream. Yeah, this ain't a dream, he mutters.